My dad does not know about Maddie. Americans hear about Iran, they automatically assume like terrorist. My dad bleeds red, white, and blue, so I don't know how he's gonna feel about me bringing a boy from a country that supposedly hates us. I'm putting it off, but I have to tell you, it's probably gonna be a bit shocking. So I did meet somebody there, but I ended up having a lot of feelings for this person. That was one of my students. What? The country he's from, he's from Iran.
They hate Americans, you know that, huh?
He obviously don't hate me. He did tell me that he would like to spend the rest of his life with me. And we will have 90 days to get married.
No! Is he gonna make you wear a jihad and not you're his property? You had to bring him, wait on him hand and foot.
Ready to leave paradise and come here with us? He's telling you, like, you better be ready, Dad, because I'm here, and you better be ready.
I'm gonna be your babysitter soon. Yes, sir.
So you're not my babysitter, you're my father.
Welcome back to another 90 Day Fiancé recap. We are back with the OG, the original series that started this dumpster fire, okay? 90 Day Fiancé, season 11, here we go. We're just gonna jump right into it. By the way, yes, I am still sick, but I think the worst is over. At least I can breathe through my nose. So hopefully it'll only get better from here and I will be 100% healed before my birthday. I'm an Aries, so that means my birthday is soon. Okay, anyway, let's just jump right into it with Jessica, aka I'm a Sissy from Reality Gaze. I think Matt and Poodle call her Cow Patty. So without further ado, let's get into it, starting with Jessica and Juan. This couple was originally from one of their spin-off series called Love in Paradise, and I covered this season, but just in case you didn't watch it, I'll give you a quick TLDR. So basically, she and her friend went on a cruise. He was working on that cruise. That's how they met. They fell in love. She visited him a couple more times and then got pregnant with their now baby David. She has 2 kids from her prior marriage. He has no kids. And he's from Colombia. She's from Cowtown, Wyoming. And he just finished up his last cruise contract. So now he can come to Wyoming and they can get married and live happily ever after, being parents and milking cows. So one day, she and her coworkers / friends, by the way, I did not know she was a mental health counselor. That's pretty cool. She and her friends / coworkers go to a place called Boomgars. I've never heard of that. What the fuck is a Boomgars? I've never heard of that. But it basically kind of looks like a Walmart, like a thrift Walmart or like a camp store. Well, I don't know. I've never seen it before. But she wants to basically buy him winter clothes because he's never experienced a cold winter before. Now, just a quick reminder, in the last season they were on, a woman reached out to Jessica on Instagram saying that she and Juan hooked up while she and Jessica were still together. Now, when she confronted Juan about this, he completely denied it. And she was like, well, I guess I gotta believe you. You know, I have a baby. I have your baby and you're about to move. And like, if you say no, it's a no. I'm gonna trust you. And then she decided to move on. But despite Jessica having moved on, her friends have not moved on. They want the best for Jessica. They love Jessica so much. They love her boy so much. And so they plan on confronting him once again when he arrives. Because one of her friends, the blonde one, she already confronted him. So yeah, I guess she's going to ask him again. It's the day of Juan's arrival. So Jessica and the boys drive many hours to go pick him up at the nearest airport. Now they have to sleep at the hotel that night because it's too late to drive home. And Juan comes. They're all so excited. Her boys, Dayton and Dawson, but the 2 older boys are so happy to see him because they know him and they love him, and it was really sweet. Juan can't wait to get down with Jessica because they haven't seen each other in months, but then he quickly realizes that they're all sharing a room together, all 5 of them. Yeah, and he's like, oh, the kids can't be alone in one room, and she's like, no, they're children, so no. Now, I'm seeing that a lot of people are feeling bad for Juan because he's going from like the turquoise blue ocean, summer vibes, he's always on vacation, to bumfuck Wyoming, Cowtown, Wyoming, cow shit all over my ass, Wyoming. There seems to be nothing to do. It's very rural. I don't know about you, but I feel like I would get major depression. Like, major depression. Good luck, though. Next, we have our very first throuple in 90-day history. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of excited for this dumpster fire. Yeah. Basically, this is Amani. Her name sounds like it's supposed to be pronounced Amani, but I swear Matt called her Amini. So I don't know what to call her. So Amini grew up in Tunisia, where women are more trad wives and there's not many opportunities for her. It's very male dominated. The only thing that women can do over there is become stay-at-home mothers, wives, or become a teacher. So when she came to America, she really excelled in her career. She works in tech, and basically her and Matt's roles are traditionally reversed, and Matt is a stay-at-home dad.
Minnie is a very strong person. I'm a very, supportive person. It took us a long time to appreciate the differences, but now that we do, we make a very strong partnership.
We do all the typical family things, but there is one aspect of our life that is slightly less typical.
Oh my God. And then they have this scene. It's so freaking cringy. I really could do without these scenes where they're in nurse and doctor patient costumes and they're role playing. And they also have their girlfriend on video chat, which was so cringy. She's like, I'm so hot. Like, okay, bruh, then turn on the fan. Turn on the AC if you're hot. Like, the fuck? And don't get me wrong, they all looked super hot. They're very, very attractive people. But honestly, I just don't understand how people can do this in front of the cameras. Like, I would die in embarrassment. My parents would die. Like, I could not do this as long as my parents and my family were alive. But I guess that's the reason why some people are made for TV and others aren't. So Matt and Amini have 2 daughters, and they're in a throuple with a woman named Ani. They met her in Mexico when they were at a club, and I don't know if they said she was a stripper or the entertainment, but they brought her home, and whoa, my dog. Oh, why did that scare me? I didn't even know she was in here. Oh, by the way, yes, I am home. I am home visiting my parents. I decided to splurge on a home vacation to Connecticut to be with my parents and my doggies. I'm so happy. So anyway, now when Minnie identifies as bisexual, and at first Matt didn't know what to think of this. He was like, am I lacking in something? Is that why she has to like go out and look for females or feminine energy? Like, what is going on? But then he became more open to it. So now the 3 of them are in a committed poly relationship, and they want to bring her to the States so she can live with them. So it kind of sounds like Amani and Matt are seeking sister wifing it, a la Danielle and Garrick, the Merrifields. I don't know why Matt Sharp decided to bring them on to 90 Day Fiancé. They could have gone to Seeking Sister Wife. By the way, when is that show coming back? That's one of my favorite shows. And we haven't had it for a really long time, and I want to know what's going on with the Merrifields. I'd really like to know when the next season is. Please. So Ani and Matt are legally married, and in order to bring Ani to the States, they need to be legally divorced so that Ani can marry one of them. I'm assuming she's going to marry Matt. So, yeah. Maybe they can call the Merrifields for some advice. Oh, I forgot to mention that Ani has 3 kids. So between the 3 of them, there's 5 kids, and they're quite young. So I don't know how that's going to work with the kids. Like, are all 3 of them going to come to the States, or are some of them coming? Like, I don't know. It's a brand new day. They go hang out with their best friends, and they tell them that they're going to get a divorce so that they can bring their girlfriend over. And they're like, whoa, that's insane. Are you really ready for this? Are you ready for a poly relationship? Because from my experience, jealousy gets involved, and it's a real bitch, okay? Because it's not like there's 4 people, so there's 2 and 2, there's 3. So at some point, 2 of the people are gonna have inside jokes, they're gonna spend more time with each other, they're gonna have more common interests, and the 3rd person is gonna feel left out, and they're gonna feel really jealous, and then Amani in her confessional says, yeah, I'm a real jealous person. Then why are you doing this? It kind of doesn't seem very smart if you're a jealous person. I don't think so. So their friends try to warn them, and they're like, nah, I think we're going to be fine. We're going to prove you all wrong. Can't wait to see what happens. Then we have Sarper and Shekinah, our favorite Temu, Barbie and Ken. Yeah, I don't know if this is pre or post facelift, because remember Shekinah posted pictures of her post facelift, and honestly, she looks the same to me. I can't really tell a difference. Now, in real time, we know that he did make it to America, but at this time of the show, they're still in Turkey. They're on their way to the US Embassy for his K-1 visa interview. They go over the pictures that they have together as proof of their relationship, and one of the first pictures of them was with Adonis, and I love that. Like, I love that Sarper was not a dog person, and he was not thrilled about living with Adonis and having Shekinah bring Adonis over. Remember, he's like, I don't really like dogs. But now he loves Adonis. I just love their bond. It's so sweet. That's exactly how it was for me too. I wasn't a dog person. My parents weren't dog people. But now we are all obsessed with my dogs, aka my children. All right, so Shekinah tells the cameras that their relationship is banking on Sarper passing this interview and going to America because she cannot live in Turkey any longer. She has to go back because her businesses are there. And also, oh yeah, I forgot, she has a daughter that she's been going, I guess, every 5 weeks to America to visit her daughter, but she can't keep traveling that much back and forth anymore. So Sarper has to pass this interview and move to America. So he goes into the interview. She waits and waits and waits. And while she waits, she goes shopping and buys something for his mother. And then he comes out and he's looking real serious. He's looking so sad. And Shekinah's like, I don't know, Sarper, what happened, Sarper? Tell me, Sarper, why are you looking like this, Sarper? And he goes, he looks real sad, but we know that's just fake. He passes, okay? He's gonna trick her and be like, oh, I didn't bash Shekinah. And then he's gonna be like, just kidding. But right before he got to respond, the episode cuts, and that's where it ends. I'm so excited to talk about the other two new couples, Stevie and Maddie, and Mark and Mina. Okay, that'll come later in the week.
Just kidding. It's happening now.
Let's start with Stevie and Maddie. So Stevie is 37, she's a single mom, and she's a painter. She loves painting abstract art, but she recently started painting the human body in the nude. And oh my god, I have a nude painting story. So I took a class 1 year because I wanted to go into the arts. That was very short-lived, by the way, because I just found out that I was not talented, like at all. I tried and tried to draw, and it was so bad. But one of the introductory classes was human anatomy art. And I will never forget how uncomfortable I was when it was a woman. And I mean, the standing poses were fine, but then one time our art teacher, he was like this young... He was kind of hot, but like I got real creeped out by him, and I was like, I don't like you. You're kind of weird, and you're really, really creepy. I got creeped out when one day he made her sit down. You know how when you do crisscross applesauce, basically, and she's naked. Do you know what I mean? And she did not have any bush to like kind of cover any. I was like, okay, this is so awkward. Can you give her something? Like, can she wear something like in the front? Because to crisscross applesauce, like everything is showing. I feel so bad for her. I feel so uncomfortable. I quit the class after. I dropped it. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. When we had a male model, he didn't make him sit down crisscross applesauce. And the overall vibe was just weird because he's like in front of the model, and as she's crisscross applesauce, he's just like looking like, okay, you know, and like kind of touching her body, showing us what to draw and what to focus on. And like it was just so uncomfortable. I got the major creeps and I dropped the class and I was like, no, I'm not doing this. Plus he's freaking weird. Anyway, back to Stevie and Maddie. Since painting doesn't pay all the bills, she also teaches English online. And that's how she met Maddie. By the way, Maddie he's pretty good looking. Okay. Stevie, I see you. So Maddie was in her English class that she was teaching, and he was a student. And aside from his hot, gorgeous, pretty face, Stevie noticed him because he was always super prepared for class, and also his internet connection was the absolute worst. So after the English course was over, they kept in touch, and then they developed feelings for each other, and she wanted to go visit him, but it wasn't safe for her to travel to Iran, so they met in Turkey, and their physical connection was so strong. And after spending a few days together in person, he proposed, and she accepted. So currently they're waiting for his visa, but there's a lot of tension between Iran and the United States, so it's been very difficult. She's constantly worried that something might happen and they won't be able to be together ever. So she tells us that her sisters know about Maddie, and so does her mom, but not her dad, because in her words, her dad bleeds red, white, and blue. She tells us about the stereotypes that Iranis face in the United States. Americans think that Middle Eastern people automatically are basically terrorists, and she basically said that's what her dad's gonna think. So she hesitated for a really long time to tell her dad because she doesn't want to stress him out. He recently got diagnosed with a lung disease, but Maddie is potentially coming to America very, very soon. So she feels like she has to tell her dad because she doesn't have any more time left. So, if her dad doesn't approve, she doesn't know what she's gonna do. He just has to. They have to get along. And I'm like, really? Okay, then you didn't even give him enough time to warm up to the idea. You're gonna tell him the day before he comes? Like, I'm just so confused. So basically, she drives to her dad's house and she tells him, Dad, remember the time I went to Turkey? I went to meet one of my students, and yeah, you were right. I fell in love with him. His name is Maddie. And he's like, Maddie? That's a guy's name? And she's like, well, my name's Stevie. You know, I went through that too, and his name is Maddie. And he's like, oh, okay, right. So what about him? So he's from a country where it's not a good country. The country's good, but the people, the country's bad, but the people are good. Iran. Oh, they hate Americans, right? Well, he don't hate me, Daddy. Okay, he love me real good, Daddy. So the dad seems okay so far. He's handling it okay until she tells him that Maddie's gonna be here tomorrow. And then they're gonna have to get married within 90 days. Yeah, so then the dad starts to freak out. And then he lets us know that she just got out of a marriage. What? Rewind. Can we get more details on this, please? We did not know that she just got out of a marriage. Where are the details? Like who, what, when, where, why, and how? I think the dad is trying to be on his best behavior in front of the cameras. He's like, is he gonna make you wear a jihad? Oh, no, Dad, no, he's not like that, Dad. You're gonna have to be his property. You're gonna have to wait on him hand and foot. So I'm thinking, sir, if you're MAGA, then maybe you'll have a little bit more in common than you think. Because, isn't that the whole point of MAGA? Women in the kitchen and being housewives and nothing else. And she's like, no, Daddy, he's not like that. And he's like, well, I've seen them on TV. I've seen them on Fox News. I know about them. I've heard all about them. Well, Daddy, are you going to walk me down the aisle? Because I really need you to walk me down the aisle. I don't even know who this dude is, Stevie. Let's talk about this later. Which is absolutely fair. The dad really does not know who this guy is. He knows nothing about him. He's never met him. So Stevie, why don't you just lay off and give your dad some time? So we learned that once Maddie comes to America, there's a pretty good chance that he won't be allowed back in Iran, meaning he won't ever see his friends or family again. Damn. And she's like, well, this has to work. Maddie and my dad have to get along because I don't have any other plan. It's kind of messed up to tell your dad the very last minute and in front of the cameras on a very popular TV show watched by millions of people. I could never do that to my dad, okay? And I'm not even that close to him. But she's close to her dad and she's telling him the very last minute that the dude I'm gonna marry within 90 days is coming here tomorrow. That's kind of messed up. Honestly, I'm kind of nervous for Maddie, if I'm being completely honest. I hope that her parents can welcome him with an open heart. But we'll see. Now let's move on to Mark and Mina. Mark is 58 years old, he's from Florida, and he flies private jets for a living. He's flown tons of famous and prestigious people, including the presidents of America. In 2019, when he was in Paris, he met his fiancée, Mina, in a restaurant. He laid eyes on her, she laid eyes on him, and the rest is history. Oh, by the way, she's 35 and he's 58. But I have to say, they both look a lot older than their actual age. Did anybody else think so? Not in a bad way. I think Mark is a cutie patootie. And Mina is gorgeous. But they do look a lot older than their age. My dad is 58, but he looks at least 10 years younger than Mark. Granted, my dad does look a lot younger than his actual age. Oh, I hate going out with him because people think we're dating. We're a couple. So gross and so offensive. He does look a lot younger. He's 58. He does not have a single gray hair. I feel like I'm going to get a gray hair before he does. And also, he does not have a single wrinkle. His skincare routine is bar soap. Okay, I don't know. The dude has great genetics. He does not have a single wrinkle. He looks like he's gotten a facelift because his skin is so tight. But my mom, on the other hand, yeah, her skin is sagging a little bit. She does have wrinkles. She has jowls recently. And her skin is very unforgiving. And I feel like I am more like my mother. And unfortunately, sorry, Mom, I love you so much, though. But I have to pick up some kind of skincare now. I have to start doing laser treatments because I feel like I'm starting to get jowls. Anyway, I digress. Sorry. Back to Mark and Mina. So they got engaged, and after 6 months of being engaged, Mina got pregnant, and now they have a teeny tiny baby daughter named Maria. Mark has 2 kids from a prior marriage, a son and a daughter, and they're older in their older 20s. I think it was Jordan and something. It was another J name. So for baby Maria's baptism, everybody went to Paris and they had this huge party. Now Jordan got a bad taste in her mouth when Mina was 3 to 4 hours late for the party and just had the entire family waiting around for her. And apparently she was late because she was getting glammed. Not a good look. Honestly, I would be on my best behavior because I would want to be accepted by the family. Like, I would not want to be late, but I guess everybody's priorities are different. So, Jordan is very skeptical of Mina. Also, why did they have a kid so soon? And Mark tells his daughter that he wants to have another baby, or they're talking about having another baby. And Jordan's like, why? Why do you need another baby? You have a 6-month-old child right now, and you're about to turn 60. Why do you want another baby? His daughter literally asks him, you're turning 60. You really want to be changing diapers when you should be retiring? Have you thought about a prenup? Are you getting a prenup? And he gets very uncomfortable by the prenup conversation. Apparently, after his last marriage, he dated another younger woman and they got really serious to the point of engagement and marriage. But then he brought up the prenup and she ran. She was like, I am not having a prenup, and she left. Isn't that a red flag? Okay? And he doesn't want that to happen again. He's in love with Mina. He has a child with Mina and he does not want her to run. So he doesn't really want to bring up the prenup. Like, he'd rather not have one. Mark, are you dumb? Are you dumb? Like, oh, Marky Mark, if things don't work out with Mina, call me, okay? According to the previews for the rest of the season, they're making Mina look like a monster. So if she indeed is a monster, then Marky Mark, you better get a prenup. All right, well, my recap is over for 90 Day Fiancé. Now I kind of want to talk about what I'm watching, but what I'm not recapping. First, Love is Blind. I watched all 6 episodes of Love is Blind over the weekend, and I don't know if I'm going to recap it. I don't know yet. Let me think about it, because it was underwhelming, to be honest, and all 6 episodes were in the pods, and the 4 people that we got the most, quote, drama from didn't even move on. They broke up before, like, leaving the pods. So I'm not that excited, honestly, but there's still potential for some drama. So I don't know. I'm going to try to figure out how I can recap all 6 episodes in one video, like a very succinct, brief recap. But I just don't know. I can't make any promises because, like I mentioned before, I am at my parents' house and I just want to spend all the time that I have with my parents and with my dogs. And, you know, I have to take my mom to the doctor's appointments. She has 3 scheduled this week. So I have to help her with that. And so, like, I don't know if I can commit to Love is Blind, but we'll see. Next show is Apple Cider Vinegar on Netflix. I highly recommend this show. It's a scripted series based on a true story of Belle Gibson. She was an Australian influencer who faked having cancer, which, by the way, I'm also watching another Hulu documentary called Scamanda, which is basically, she did the same thing. Amanda did the same thing. She faked having cancer. But this is a scripted series. So the Hulu one, Scamanda, is more of a documentary, and then Apple Cider Vinegar is a scripted series where it's all these actors, kind of like Inventing Anna. Remember Anna Delvey? But Inventing Anna had this light, kind of comedic vibe to it, but this one is a lot darker. So basically, Belle Gibson, the Australian influencer, she was diagnosed, quote, diagnosed with terminal brain cancer, and she basically claimed that she cured her cancer by eating whole, nutritious foods. And so she created this app called the Whole Pantry that essentially encouraged other cancer patients to forego going to the doctors, chemo and radiation, and rely on whole foods and her recipes. And then there's this other influencer she gets competitive with who actually does have cancer, but then she goes on her own journey with her mother. And then there's the journalist who has his own journey with his wife who's diagnosed with cancer. And then everyone's stories intertwine. And honestly, it's a great show. I enjoyed it so much. I highly recommend. I thought all the actors were amazing. And at first I was thinking that it was going to be like light and happy, but I got to give you guys kind of a warning. It is a lot heavier, but I highly recommend it. If you end up watching it though, please let me know how you liked it. I'm also watching The Bachelor with Grant Ellis, and I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. Grant is very nice to look at, so that doesn't hurt. There's also some drama between the girlies, so I'm enjoying it. Next, The Traitors is hands down my favorite show right now. I cannot look away. I have a big fat crush on Dylan Efron, okay? He's not usually my type, but like I just fell in love with him, okay? Is he single? Should I holler? Should I slip and slide into the DMs? Yeah, so Thursday nights are my favorite. My sister and I, after we finish dinner, we get into our jammies, we take out our favorite snacks, and we turn off the lights, we turn on like the mood lighting, and our eyes are glued to the screen. Oh my God, 2 weeks ago when they had that bug challenge, my sister and I were screaming so much. I'm surprised that our neighbor, Cunty Karen, didn't come knocking and complaining because we were literally screaming. But at the same time, I was loving it because it kind of gave Fear Factor. No, it totally gave Fear Factor vibes. And I loved watching the bug challenges from Fear Factor. I mean, I loved it, but I hated it. So I would hate watching it, if that makes sense. So it was giving that, and I loved every second of it. Love Island All-Stars. Is anybody watching? My sister and I just saw the heart rate challenge. Oh my God, it was epic. Like epically cringe. It was so funny. Mostly at Ekin-Su and Curtis. Holy crap. If our parents had walked in, they would have thought we were watching corn. But Curtis cracked us the fuck up. The way he entered salsa dancing and then he just boom went in between someone's legs. I can't even remember who it was. It was just insane. And was it Ronnie? I call him Ebenezer Scrooge. That's who he looks like. When he tried to rip off his pants and they wouldn't come off. We died. We were so out of breath, laughing and wheezing. I mean, I haven't laughed like that in so long. Well, that's it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you hated it, you can give it a thumbs down. All right? Thank you guys, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.